Welcome back again, my chess fans, to Bags with Chess Cruncher. And this is a game that I played against the Ninth Gate. He's white and I'm black, and it was a really, really fun game. I want you to see and enjoy it. Okay, it goes H3, D5. I'm taking the center. He's playing for the side. G3, he's getting ready probably to fianchetto his bishop. I go C5. C5 is a move that takes the part of the center at D4, and it also supports the advance of my other pawns. So let us continue. He goes G2. He's trying to attack my D5 pawn, and also maybe bring his knight to F3 to stop the onslaught of my E pawn coming down the board 2 squares to E5. I go knight C6. I'm like, no, forget that. I'm gonna advance anyways. He goes E3, trying to hold back the D4 push of the pawn to take more space. I go E5. I'm now in full control of all the centers of the surrounding places. I'm in control of C, C4, C5, D5, E5, E4, and I control all those, and I even control F4 and B4. If you notice, my pawns attack those squares so that he can't push his pawns. Otherwise, they'd take him and I'd get a pawn. Okay, he goes D3, trying to again hold the center, trying to consolidate what he's lost right now. I go F5. 4 pawn phoenix push. I'm going for all-out assault on the center. He goes E2. He's getting cramped for space. He's trying to get castled. I go F6. I'm like, don't think about it, boy. He castles. I go bishop D6. He go. Sorry about that. Bishop D6, F3. Then what happens is he moved F3 because he's trying to make kind of a fortification in front of his king, but that's not what the pawns are. The pawns are for protection. And I guess that probably would be somewhat of a good move, just because this one reason. He doesn't want my G pawn and my H pawn coming down attacking his kingside pawns. But the only problem that I see is now his G pawn's weakened, and he has weakness all around in front of his king at F2, G2, and H2 that my knight can jump into. Okay, he goes bishop E. No, I go bishop E6. He goes knight B C2 C3. That's the reason is he wants to attack my D5 pawn. I castle. I'm like, get my king to safety. Now let's start the party. He goes E4. Now he thinks it's time. I go D4. Bang. He goes knight B5, attacking my D6 rook. I go, don't think so. He trades. I take. He pushes G4, weakening his G3 pawn, and it's just not what he did is a very good idea. I go F4, shutting down all lines. He goes C3. Wow, wow, wow. That wasn't. I guess he had to lever open the center, otherwise he wouldn't have had any counterplay. So I move my queen back, getting ready for a sacrifice. If I play knight takes, G4, pawn takes G4, bishop takes, and then queen takes. That's a lot of material loss, but the center's open, and it could work, but that's just a lot of material right now. He goes C takes D. I go C takes D. He goes B3, trying to shut down any of the attack on the queen side. I go fine, H5. I don't really mind about that. I'm hammering for his king. He goes B4, attacking my rook. I go rook E8. He pushes. I move my rook back, my knight back. He goes H2. I bring my bishop in. I'm like, why not? Why not allow my bishop to come in, get in there, do some damage? He goes rook to F2. B5. King H2. Bishop takes G. My plan was to remove his defenders. His most attacking pieces are his bishop, his rook. His knight is kind of held back by my two pawns at F4 and D4 because he can't jump anywhere. He's kind of tied down, so his only really active piece is his rook at F2. So he takes with his king. I bring my rook down to E6. He goes C5. C5, bishop C5. I go to G6. The reason is now I'm pinning his pawn at G5. And I can do there's always sacrificing ideas on there. He moves his knight to G1, trying to get some help to the king side. I sack. It goes, check. Moves his king down. I move my pawn. It takes. Queen takes. Queen H1. Don't think so. I'm not doing that right now. I want to get some big attack on him before I do anything. It goes H2. I go rook to E8. He's trying to put a little pressure on. I go queen takes. Don't think so. He takes. Now I'm getting ready to double my rooks on the G file and start some onslaught. Hey, he moves over F2. I double my rooks. He goes rook to H8, check. I move my king up to king F7. He moves his rook to H2. I go king E6, getting out of any problems of any attack. And I can always move over, back, or by my knight. It all depends. Centralize my king. He goes G8, trying to put some pressure on the pawn. I go king F7. Don't think so. You went right into where I wanted you to do. He goes rook to C8. Go knight E7. The reason is G7 is I don't mind if he pins or takes it. It's part of my plan. Soon I will show you what the whole strategy was about sacking the knight. Rook C8, C7, rook G8. Yeah, you can have my knight. Go for it. I bring my piece all the way down to G1. I'm going to try to swing it over to A1, and then I take the A2 pawn, getting his rook for that. It's going to be sweet. He goes A7. I go A2. Like I said, my plan is to skewer his rook to his king and being so much material ahead. He goes A8. F7. See, he could do repetition. G1, F2, see, yeah. He could do, sorry, A. He came down with his rook to check me. I would go to F7, and then he would come to A7 check. Then I would go to King G8. The reason is he could stop my attack by repetition. But he gets a little greedy, and he wants to go for the full all-out attack of my king, and sometimes even save his position because he's up a bishop. But sometimes my fellow friends and my fellow chess friends sometimes the best thing to do is to take a draw. Fight, yes, fight for full control and trying to win the game, but don't lose the game because of pride. Don't lose the game. Keep the fight. If you get a draw, it's a half point. It's not like you've lost anything. You just have a half point. So, what I do now is you probably want to see what happens, and I'll show you. Rook takes a2 like we were planning. Check, skewering his rook. He moves down to e1, and I will step back for a couple seconds and let you see the checkmate move. Exactly. Excuse me. Exactly. You guys are really smart, and you guys know your chess. The correct move is g1 checkmate. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. The chess game between the ninth gate and Bags. I will see you again at Chess Cruncher with Bags. God bless, and see you next time.